Hey there everyone, this is Samuel Johnson and welcome back to the Alien Force Retrospectives, thankfully with better lighting this time. And today we're going to be looking at episode 12 of Ben 10 Alien Force, Plumbers Helpers. And in this episode, we're introduced to two more kind of sort of half aliens. I'll make a comment about that once I'm done summarizing. Because in the beginning of the episode, we see a man running in this sewage building. It's revealed that the man is a DNA alien after he rips off his ID mask for some reason, but we can kind of guess that something's up with him because he has a laser. But he's being chased by someone. We don't know who, but we keep seeing something blasting at him and even seeing something whoosh by. Eventually he's cornered in a garage when suddenly a van pulls up and when it opens up there's this strange thing in the back. It looks like a cannon, but it has a red vortex in it. And I think many fans of Ben 10 may kind of recognize it as a null void projector, especially with the design and even the portal. But that's a spoiler, and yeah, again, if you're a Ben 10 fan, you'll probably recognize it, but anyway. So, whatever is chasing him suddenly what lassos the DNA alien and then pulls him into the projector. At which point we wind up seeing who is chasing the DNA alien. And it turns out it's a four-arms and an accelerate, or Tetraman and a Accelerand for the Ben 10 nerds that like to get technical. Their names are Manny Hands and Helen Wheels. You can probably guess which one is which, and well, yeah, whatever. Forearms, just Manny, accelerates Helen, but whatever. I'm getting really into semantics, but anyway. Pretty much, they're pretty much what they call plumbers helpers. Essentially, they help out. Essentially, what they do is that they track down aliens, capture them, and then throw them into the null void cannon under the pretense that they think the null void cannon is a disintegrator beam that they call the Annihilator cannon. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to that. Really, it's a dumb name anyway. But anyway, after they trap the DNA alien, we learn that there was originally 3 of them. Their third member was Pierce, who was kind of sort of their ringleader and was Helen's brother. However, apparently very recently something happened to him and now he's no longer around. However, before they can kind of more some more, they wind up picking up something on their scanner. Apparently, a group of aliens is meeting at the sewage place. They go to check it out. And when they arrive, they have a machine that looks for body heat, and they're able to discover that that the people are actually Ben, Gwen, and Kevin, who are there investigating what was going on there earlier because they probably picked up on what they were doing. However, Helen and Manny think they're aliens, and for them, their policy is if it's alien, it's bad, ergo, kill it. Yeah, that's pretty much the driving force throughout the whole episode. For the majority of the episode with them. And they're pretty much the main focus of the episode too, actually. Which makes sense. The episode's called Plumbers Helpers, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, we cut back to their base of operations where Helen's going over this old video diary that Pierce made, and in it's Pierce talking about how when they captured an alien, just before they threw it into the null void projector, it's a null void cannon, I'm just gonna say that now. It flashed a plumber's badge. They assumed it was fake, but now he's beginning to have second thoughts. However, while Helen's watching this, Mandy comes in and shows that they fed the image to one of the computers, and they're able to get a clear image of Ben, Gwen, and Kevin. And so they decide that they're gonna try and Helen managed to convince Manny to do this by the book, or well, Manny says he'll do it, but they'll do it by the book. But bottom line, they're gonna find them, and that's when Manny decides, and Manny says that, and even though whatever they say, they're gonna track him down and try and keep an eye on them, because Helen attached a tracking device to Kevin's car when they encountered them before. As such, the next night they're kind of doing stakeout, following them around, keeping an eye on them. Manny ultimately gets impatient because he wants to just fight them. He's just kind of a moron, and he shoots again. And winds up shooting at them, and he winds up hitting a truck full of propane or gas. Yeah, propane, and goes into a gas station, and the gas and that pretty much there's a spark going, so the gas is starting to lit up, and if it hits the truck, everything's gonna blow. So Ben, Gwen, and Kevin stop, and they go and save the guy, and Ben goes alien. Kevin ends up saving the guy while Gwen provides cover so no one sees them. But while this is all happening, Helen and Manny come running in, and they wind up fighting the group. Helen manages to take out Gwen, while Manny and Kevin wind up getting into a fight, with Manny ultimately knocking Kevin out and taking him away. As eventually Ben and Gwen wind up realizing they need to find a way to get to Kevin, and Gwen uses her powers to try and track Kevin down. While in the meantime, Kevin is back at the hideout with them, and Manny pretty much just wants to kill him right away. But Helen keeps saying, "You guys need to calm down. The more of them may be coming." Yada yada yada. Pretty much she's just sick. And pretty much what's kind of amusing is that the actors who play Manny and Kevin played Cyborg and Beast Boy on Teen Titans. So it's just kind of amusing. So it's kind of fun. It's fun seeing them work off each other, and especially because Manny and Kevin have very similar personalities. They're just giant jerks. They're constantly getting on everyone. They're constantly getting on each other's nerves. But in the meantime, eventually Gwen and Ben manage to track them down. So they go outside and get ready to fight them. While they're doing that, Kevin manages to get out of his, because they put him in like a little bubble or whatever. And he manages to use some spare change he had in his pocket to reach through the bubble and destroy what's keeping it up. But in the meantime, outside, Gwen is the only one that's fighting Helen and Manny, because Helen shot at a nearby building and a stray piece of rock knocked out Ben, and even when he's back up, he's still woozy. And as such, when Ben finally comes in, Manny pulls up their van, which has the null void cannon in it. And so Helen and Manny rope up Ben before he can go alien, and they just toss him inside. They're at that point. Helen and Manny are about to fight Gwen and Kevin, but because it's a portal, Ben just goes alien while he's in the null void and crawls out. Manny just gets mad and starts shooting at Ben, but he's swamp fire because he turned into swamp fire. So all the shots do nothing to him, and he just knocks Manny out with a blast of fire. And so Ben goes up to Helen and just says, "Now put down your weapons and let's just talk." So Helen actually does the sensible thing, and so they reveal the truth. Because I actually forgot to mention this, the reason that Helen and Manny, and by extension Pierce, which they actually do, I forgot to mention him. You actually do see him through the video diary, and he does not look anything like Helen at all. And I don't mean like in the sense of that he's not alien, that he's not her bro. He looks human enough, but his hair kind of is black with just a patch of white, and he's like a human porcupine, because he's got spines all over his face, his arms. He's nothing like Helen. Which raises more questions, but I'll again talk about it once I'm done here. Pretty much Helen, Manny, and Pierce were all human at one point. I really should have mentioned this earlier. Apparently, at some point something happened, and they all turned into what they are, and they just assumed it was because of aliens and that messed with them. Only it's because, like with Alan Albright, they're part alien. But the difference is that while Alan can go transform to and from can transform between his Pyronite and human forms at will, they're just kind of stuck. They can't transform back. So they're pretty much just stuck like this. But in the meantime, pretty much. So after they explain the situation that Ben, Gwen, and Kevin are the good guys, and the good guys, they want both groups start butting heads again, except this time it's more just arguing instead of actually fighting. Ben manages to calm them down by just yelling, surprisingly, because being the surprisingly mature one. But again, it's still Ben. He's grown, but I don't know. I still don't see him being the one that breaks everything up. Not at this point anyway. I don't know. Maybe it's too soon. I don't know. It's been a whole season, so I don't know. You can yell at me in the comments if you want. But anyway, it reminds Helen of Pierce, and she winds up running inside and bringing out a log, because she said, "Well, here are all the people we've caught." And so we see a list of all the aliens they've caught. And what I find amusing is that most of the aliens are aliens that we've seen in Ben 10. So we see an ectoneurite, which it looks exactly like Ghost Freak did when he tore off his skin. We see, and pretty much all the other aliens, with the exception with the exception of Upgrade and the DN alien, because the DN alien wasn't introduced in the original series. All of them are just the exact same models from the original Ben 10 series, just put here, exactly the same. You can actually tell, like if you, the best example I can think of is that if you take Alan when he's heat blast with the Pyronite picture they have, they're different. They look similar enough so you can tell they're the same thing, but they're very different. But anyway, so Ben says that maybe some of these are maybe a handful of them may easily be innocent or just plumbers' kids. So Helen, armed with the knowledge of that their thing is that the thing they've been using to take out the aliens is actually a portal, says that she's going to go into the null void and round up everyone they captured and free all the ones that don't belong there. While Manny at first seems resistant, Helen says it's what Pierce would do, and so Manny says, okay, fine. And so they go into the null void, and after they're gone, Kevin goes back into their garage to steal most of their stuff. So, admittedly, it's a good episode. It's a very nice episode. Once again, the episode kind of brings up the whole aliens and humans, which it's kind of icky, but this time I'm going to bring something up. This is going to be a big spoiler for Omniverse, and if you have not watched Omniverse yet and still planning on it, then skip ahead a bit. I'm not going to be putting it in because I'm kind of a moron like that. I'll put it in annotations. I don't know, but anyway, the reason I didn't bring this up before is because as I mentioned way back in my prologue for the Ben 10 retrospectives, I stopped watching Omniverse after a while because I was getting sick of it. I was seeing some of the stuff they were doing and I wasn't interested anymore. I wasn't entertained, so I stopped halfway through Omniverse. As such, I was not aware of this. I was not aware of this. I was aware of some things after Omniverse. I looked them up and for curiosity's sake I watched them, but I was not aware of this twist. The twist is Alan, Manny, Helen, and Kevin were actually members of a team put together by a plumber scientist who intended to actually kill Ben. As such, to try and make them more useful, these half alien youths that have superpowers, they were mixed. The reason they have these alien abilities is because they took some of Kevin's DNA when he was a kid, and they bonded it with alien DNA, and then put that DNA in these kids. As such, that's how they can transform. And I'm not gonna lie, and this is a very big out there thing. I know I'm going off topic, but honestly, it answers all the complaints I had with everyone's talking about the weather, because I honestly don't see how that would work. Well, okay, maybe I could see it with forearms and accelerate. Maybe their anatomies are close enough, but Pyronite, no woman or man or whatever can get with get with a fire alien without getting severe burns. I don't understand that. But I don't know. So yeah, it fills up the plot hole. It does create a couple plot holes that I will talk about later as I get through the series. But for now, I'm so glad I heard that. It makes sense. It's actually so. My complaint about how they're human yet still have these alien abilities is answered for me. Is no longer an issue for now. So I'll eventually bring up the other problems that came up with this later. But because I'm not gonna explain it all yet, because my ultimate complaint with this retcon will come when we get to another retcon that Alien Force did. So anyway. Something that I honestly didn't like about this episode was, ironically, the Plumbers helpers themselves, or at least just Manny, because I'm not gonna lie, these guys are morons. Or at least Manny is. Their ultimate vendetta is that they don't like aliens because of what happened to them. They think that whatever happened to them was caused by aliens, and as such, whenever they come across an alien on Earth, their immediate reaction is, hunt it down, throw it in the cannon, then go home and get some sleep. That is their agenda. And they don't consider anything. Even though they have all this alien tech, they think that all aliens are bad. No, no, no. Even to the point where when Helen starts questioning it and starts thinking, maybe we should think things through, Manny says, screw that. I want to kill these guys. I mentioned, I'm going back to the scene where Manny shot the gas station, putting a human life at risk, when Ben, Gwen, and Kevin save the guy and stop his tanker from exploding. What's his reaction? Who gives a crap? They're aliens. Throw them in the cannon. That is his reaction. He's a moron, and he doesn't consider the facts. Helen considers the facts, and honestly, I really don't understand her either. Like, she starts questioning it, and I'll give her credence for that. But seriously. Okay, my complaints are mostly with Manny anyway. He's the one that kind of drives it, but Helen keeps going along with it, even when she starts questioning it. She still fights them. She doesn't listen until Ben says, stand down and listen. That's all. It annoys me, because Manny's a moron, and it got on my nerves with this episode. It really is annoying, and I don't like it. And I don't like that. Especially when you have idiot characters. You know what this is? It's an idiot plot. The only reason there's a conflict between Team Alien Force and the Plumbers Helpers is because of Manny and his stupidity and Helen not stopping him. I'm sorry, I'm getting angry about this. But it is a glaring problem with the episode. The conflict is brought about by stupidity, with no one understanding it. And you can make the argument that, well, whatever happened to them, maybe it turned them off against the aliens. They think whatever happened to them, they think all aliens are bad, yada, yada, yada. But even when Helen brings up factual evidence, Manny, going back to that, Manny just says, screw you to that. And Helen, after Manny just blows her off, still goes along with it. I don't get it. She doesn't even try to talk to Ben and Gwen after they capture Kevin. Even though she knows they might be good people. Again, it's a big problem. As for the rest, but I will give him this. It is more world building. It's still nice to see more characters enter the fray, because the Plumbers Helpers do come back for later episodes, and we even do meet Pierce in person in a later episode. Spoiler warning here, but it's revealed in a later episode that how he was killed was that during one of their escapades he was pulled into the no void cannon, and since they thought it was an annihilator beam, they just assumed he died, even though he's still alive. Why he didn't come back out of the no void is also explained in the episode where he's introduced. So again, the episode isn't bad. It's still entertaining enough to watch. I like seeing Ben, Gwen, and Kevin still kind of growing as a team, and especially in comparison to the Plumbers Helpers, who kind of have a similar dynamic, because Pierce was the leader, Manny was their moronic muscle, Helen was the voice of reason. It really was a nice. It was kind of nice seeing them work off of each other, and I liked seeing the alien tech. I liked seeing these characters, and I actually liked seeing Helen and Manny work off each other. They actually do have when they actually are talking and are actually strategizing, it's kind of nice seeing them butt heads or collaborate or whatever. And again, it's still nice seeing aliens from the original series come back, and I like seeing, and they hint, and I like some of the callbacks. Overall, it's just a nice episode. It's not a great episode, especially with the Plumbers Helpers, because that does get on my nerves, because I don't like idiot plots like that. And this one is no exception, but it has enough there that I'm still interested, and I would watch it again I watch it again. So, yeah. Again, not a great episode, but still rather entertaining with what it is, so. Yeah. I think that's really all I have to say. Thank you for watching. So, yeah. I'm sweating up a storm because it is 90 degrees where I am, and it's getting more humid, so I guess I should probably wrap up. So, thank you for watching. I'm Samuel Johnson, and tune in next week where we look at the season Season 1 finale of Ben 10 Alien Force, and we get the introduction of, honestly, my favorite alien in the entire Ben 10 franchise. So, again, I'm Samuel Johnson, and I will see you next week. Take care.